coming from Maryland, and you'll have to let me know which town in Maryland that's at. We're next up is Amy Lloyd. Are you there, sister?
Hello. Hi, Mark. Thanks for
Hey,
having
there you
me.
are.
Thanks to Red for being persistent and that I finally was able to make this happen. So,
Oh, very good.
I'm from Southern Maryland. The town is Waldorf, and that
Hmm.
is a little less than an hour from Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
I've lived here, a total of about 20 years. I lived in Indianapolis for about 3 years, but I'm originally from Central Illinois.
Yeah. Right. I noticed that. I was looking through the bio. Yeah. So you've relocated a couple of times. It looks like. You know. Very cool. So tell us just in a nutshell. The 15-second synopsis. Who's Amy Lloyd and what is she up to?
Well, I'm a mom of two teenagers, so that takes a lot of my time. They're 17
Oh
and
yeah.
15. So, mom of two teenagers, but my music endeavors include these originals that I'm going to share with you tonight. They've been
Mm.
recorded and are available for streaming and on vinyl. So I hope you'll check that out. But also,
Mm.
I teach private lessons from my home. I teach piano and voice lessons. And I also sing in the community whenever I'm needed. I sing for a church on Saturdays. And I also really love choral singing. I noticed that was mentioned by our last guest. And I love that as well.
Oh, very neat. Now, did you say you put some stuff out on vinyl?
Yes. So a couple of the
Not not
songs I've
not
shared.
CD, but a vinyl.
Right. Yeah. It's on CD if you want to buy a CD, but it's on vinyl record. Uh, that was a
Hmm.
fun process, and it's available, and
Yeah.
I think people will check it out.
I've always wanted to put some of the either, I've got solo stuff and then there's a band stuff. I've always wanted to put some of that on vinyl. Um, the thing that's held me back is it's like, boy, this costs so much more than printing CDs, and how many people will actually get some of them? And plus, you can't fit the whole CD on a vinyl, right? So you got to kind of rearrange, maybe drop stuff, right?
Yeah, so I did an EP. So actually, what I ran into was how much are we going to put all this on one side, or are we going to put it on two sides? And I
Yeah.
ran into more of that kind of thing. It was a smaller project, but I was really committed to making sure
Yeah.
it was on vinyl.
Did you actually add some material to fill up the vinyl?
No, I had 5 songs set, and that was my plan for the project. And
Hmm.
I worked with the pressing company to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so and I've been told from what I've read, there's various technical complications. You have to plan carefully and have properly crafted people to make the vinyl sound as good as the CD. That's the understanding I've been given.
Well, yeah, so we didn't really change any technical details for the pressing, but my genre is already, it really lends itself to vinyl anyway. It's more of a folk
Mm.
genre. I mean, it was definitely studio
Yeah,
produced with a lot of instruments, but it was it was just a good genre to put on on vinyl.
yeah. Well, that's very cool. How many copies did you press?
Uh, 200, 250.
Okay, so around a 200, not
It's a low
unreasonable.
count.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
low
Very
count.
neat, very neat.
Yeah.
You're the first person I've heard who actually took the dive and did the vinyl thing. So that's very cool. Um, but I don't think people came under Red's room to hear me blather about vinyl this and vinyl that. They probably want to hear your music at this point. So why don't we let you get started and tell us a little bit what you're going to share with us tonight?
Okay, so the first song I want to share with you is actually not one that I've written. It was written by a friend of mine. 10 years ago or so, I produced a CD that had a lot of praise and worship music on it, but I wanted to fill it with some originals as well. And I wasn't songwriting at that point. So our friend, my husband and I have friends, Michael and Meg Foster, and he's actually a pastor at a church in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is on the other side of DC, so on the like the north side of DC.
Right.
Um, and so he wrote this song and his wife, and it's called "Me for You." It's based on the life of Paul, and you will notice in there one of every Christian's favorite verses, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
Yeah, we're good.
Faithfully, oh, to live for you, life or death, whatever you may choose. Oh, to fight the fight and to keep the faith. I will serve you all my days. I will serve you all my days. I will serve you all my days. Your love has compelled me. There is nothing else to do. This is me for you. Toward the goal, my eyes are fixed on you. To the end, this is what I choose. I can do all things through Christ my strength. I will serve you all my days. I will serve you all my days. I will serve you all my days. Your love has compelled me. There is nothing else to do. This is me for you. Face to face, oh, I long to see the King of Kings with the crown in store for me. Whether it's tomorrow or whether it's today, I will see you face to face, and I'll be ready on that day. I will see you face to face.
Mm, very cool. So a pastor friend wrote this song, right?
Yes.
So there's there's a pastor friend, not at my church, but there's another church about 2 blocks away from ours, and we've been friends with them because the band's played there sometimes, and um, he writes a lot of original stuff. I always think it's cool when a pastor is doing songwriting. They're always something special about those songs. I don't know.
Mike
Is
and
it
Meg
just me?
Yeah, Mike and Meg have recorded a couple albums. I don't think they're out for
Mm,
streaming, but he had more songs than people who really love to songwrite end up with more songs than they know what to do with. So
yeah, I know the feeling.
yeah, songs come a little harder for me.
Yeah.
It's not a natural thing. It's something I work at. Whereas some people they have
Yeah.
so many songs, they love to just hear them be used. So
Right. I think this is my own observation about that. Part of it is also the phase of life that you're in, too, because there are certain times when you're just too busy to do the songwriting, and everything that's in your head musically has kind of already been said, and so it kind of just doesn't happen. But like back back at the end in the end of 2010, my Christian blues band started, and I had this explosion of songwriting inspiration for a couple of years after that. Lots of stuff. And it's a big part of the repertoire of what the band does. And since then, I have continued to write songs, but not as much. And I think the phase of life that you're in, sometimes you're going to write a lot and other times not so much. And which is fine. It's just God's timing, right?
That's right. And a big part of what I do, which I can't believe I forgot to mention it earlier, is I sing a lot of funerals. It's a big part of my ministry. And
Mm,
so those are usually family requests, and so that keeps me busy preparing to make sure I have things ready for those family
right.
requests. And that's time that's taken away from songwriting and other things. So
Oh yeah. So in other words, they have like their grandmother had a favorite song, when she was living, and we want to sing that song to remember her.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that too. In my family, there's grandmother passed, and then aunts and uncles passed, and then my parents, just over the years, a few at a time, and the one recurring song would come up again and again and again, which is "How Great Thou Art," which that was just kind of
Yeah.
the song for my family, I guess.
That is one of my
Probably other
absolute
folks have
favorites.
similar. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I remember there was a Promise Keepers conference that happened just after 9/11 back in 2001, and they had to scramble at the last minute to get some the musicians, and they because all the planes were grounded, and they jumped in their cars and drove several days from Texas to get there. And one of the most compelling songs they did is they did a big, full, strong adaptation of that song, you know, which at the time was very relevant, right?
Yes, actually, I know we are here to play music and all, but I was at the Capitol on 9/11, so I evacuated the Capitol on
Right.
9/11.
Yeah. That's right, because according to your bio, you did some of your career time was there.
That's right. Before I had
Yeah.
kids, I worked on Capitol Hill, and then I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And then when
Hmm.
my youngest child went to school, I started taking voice lessons. That was 10 years ago, and then just kept taking
Yeah.
classes and developing music, and now do it professionally.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, why don't you share some more music with us?
Okay.
We need to. You said the stuff that follows now is going to be your own material, right?
Yes, I have one right here that is something that I wrote. It was inspired by a hymnal, which I have here, show and tell. This was my great
Hmm.
grandmother's hymnal from 1908 called Make His Praise Glorious. The
Oh, that's
song that,
cool. You you
yeah, the
you've
song,
bested me. I've got an old classic hymnal. In fact, I just picked it up on eBay. It's the 1956 release of the Baptist hymnal,
wow,
and it's a real clean, almost mint condition copy, but it's pretty much identical to what was sitting in the pews of our church when I was a kid. But
that's great.
1908, oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So I took a song in that hymnal called Father Hold My Hand, and
Mm.
I kind of took the words and massaged them into something more modern, and then the chord progression is from something
Right.
totally different, but it's inspired from that. And actually, everything of my own that I'm doing today is in a songbook, which is also um,
Mm,
available. So if you like the
cool.
song, you can actually also get the song by itself, like a digital copy, and
Hmm.
play it for your church if you want, or whatever your band gigs are. So
Mm,
this is called Father Hold My Hand.
mm.
Father, hold my hand, hide me in the shadow of your wings. Father, hold my hand, hide me in the shadow of your wings. When heavy clouds spread over my sky and cover the path that I travel by, when steeper grows my weary way, transform me, help me to follow and obey. Father, hold my hand. Oh, closer, hold my hand. Father, hold my hand. Hide me in the shadow.
Amen. Beautiful. So, just real briefly, what's the process like for you composing that tune?
So the ones on this latest record I did in guitar lessons. We kind of changed my guitar lessons to songwriting sessions
Hmm.
with a guitar teacher um, who's in his actually in his late 20s. He's a lot younger than me, and he's just like a little brother to me. His name is Chris Dean, and so he gets co-writing credits on these songs that are on this EP. So
Hmm.
um, I like that collaborative process with another person. I think that if I were just to sit down and do it by myself, it wouldn't ever happen. I like that accountability of sitting down and having the other ideas and just letting the ideas flow. And um, I tend to write lyrics first and then add
Hmm.
the music to it. Sometimes it works the other way, but usually it works with lyrics first.
Hmm. Very cool. Now, if I heard you correctly, because this really made my ears perk up. You said basically this was one of the tunes that you lifted out of the hymnal and then kind of paraphrased it to fit a modern musical flow. Is that right?
I did, yes.
Yes. Okay. Now let me tell you why my ears perked up. Um, because I've had this kind of a bucket list recording project that I've been working on for a couple of years now, and it's called Retro, and it's basically a collection of songs which were either early songs that I composed long ago and they got put on a shelf and forgotten for a long time, or else songs that are were part of the old school influences that brought me to where I am today. And one of the parts of what I'm doing is exactly what you just described. I've got a couple of different hymns out of that old Baptist hymnal that I've, found my own adaptation of. And I'm working on a third one right now. And Lord willing, 2 Fridays from now on the 16th, when I'm performing here in Red's Room, if you come back, you'll get to hear it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. The other song
But
like that is called Never Alone. I'm not going to sing that one tonight, but I posted it in the Red's Room Entertainment Facebook group. It has a lyric video, and so I went ahead and
right.
posted that so you can hear that one too.
Now that was a special tune for you, right? Can you tell us a little about that?
Never Alone is the name of the EP, and so that's the title track.
That's right.
And
That's right.
that one also was sort of inspired by
Yes.
a tune in this hymnal. It was actually marked, like the page was turned. And I didn't know my great grandma who owned this. She passed away before I was born, but it was neat
Yeah.
to find inside that she had marked things. And so that tune is
Yeah.
based off of that hymn, Never Alone.
Yeah. So I just thought it's so cool that like I'm not the only person doing that. Someone else is doing that too. So that is awesome. All righty. Well, let's get back to another tune here. And I want you to tell us a little bit about what you're going to do next.
The next song is also one that I wrote, but I actually did write this one by myself. I know I said I like to collaborate, but this one I wrote after I had this long health thing where I had an abdominal muscle tear, but that we didn't know that's what it was. So I had this pain that was going on, and finally we found a surgeon who he was actually he treats athletes like major league baseball players and golf players and football players. Uh,
Sports medicine.
as a singer, a sports medicine
Yeah.
surgeon. So as a singer, I needed the sports medicine surgeon. But this one I wrote right after I had the surgery, and it's just kind of this idea of casting your cares to God, and that He always answers our prayers, gives us that grace and mercy that we need, and then it makes us want to sing back to Him. So. I cast my cares to you, Lord. I cast my cares to you. It's out of my hands, Lord. I cast my cares to you. For I am weary.
So, um, so your inspiration started with music in a church when you were very young, didn't it?
Yes. So one of my first vocal solos was All I Want for Christmas is My Front
Two
Tooth.
front teeth. Yep.
Yes.
Uh,
My grandmother was a church pianist and she programmed me singing that song. And then from there, my parents put me in piano lessons and it just blossomed from there.
so you had relatives, part of the church and playing the instruments and in the choir and that kind of thing, right?
My mom currently sings in her church choir. She has a program tomorrow
There you
that
go.
she's all excited about. So, yes.
So my mom, all of her life, played either piano or organ. And when she wasn't doing that, she was in a church choir, and many times my dad was too. Um, and as kids, sitting in church when we were like kind of restless and starting to squirm and being a little disruptive, the eyes were watching us, and you'd hear this sound from up in the choir loft during the sermon while we were cutting up. You'd hear someone go, just like that. And we knew what it meant, right?
Yeah, my current church
Yeah,
doesn't have a
that was,
choir. My current church doesn't have a choir, but I love
yeah, right.
choir. I it's one of my favorite things and
Yeah, they kind of don't do that anymore. They're like going to, they just have like a band now. So,
it depends on the church,
yeah,
but I'm just really at home in the alto
yeah.
section of a choir. So I sometimes seek out more
Hmm.
like classical choruses where I can do that, or sometimes I'll be a guest at a church
Oh,
and get
yeah,
to sing in their choir. But I love choir singing.
right. Oh, very cool. So, do you have one more tune to share with us here?
I do. This is for my first CD. So this one is from our pastor friend, Mike Foster, and his wife, Meg. The name of this
Hmm,
song is Here
cool.
Is Your God. And so this is a song where instead of singing to God, we're singing to each other to encourage each other about our faith. And it has
Hmm.
Isaiah 40:31, which is one of my all time favorite verses. They who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength, they shall mount up with wings like eagles. And that is in
Hmm.
the bridge of the song.
Yeah,
So you'll hear it there.
cool.
Only a flower falling away. That is what we are. Even this hour, glory that fades. That is what we are. Comfort, rise up. Good news, rise. Here is your God. Lift up your eyes to see. The one we need is Him. Here is your God. Lift up your voice to shout. There's no one else. There's no one else like Him. Lord, like a shepherd, you gather us close to your heart, unequaled in power, strengthening us. That is who you are. Comfort, rise up. Good news, rise. Here is your God. Lift up your eyes to see. The one we need is Him. Here is your God. Lift up your voice to shout. There's no one else. There's no one else. We want to run and not grow weary. We need our strength renewed. We want to soar on wings like eagles. We have to hope in you. We want to run and not grow weary. We need our strength renewed. We want to soar on wings like eagles. We have to hope in you. Here is your God. Lift up your eyes to see. The one we need is Him. Here is your God.
ladies and gentlemen, um, show some appreciation here for Amy Lloyd. This another lovely tune. Thank you very much. Um, got any last words for us before we move to the next artist here?
Uh,
Including contact info. How to get in touch with you?
sure, thanks. So my Facebook page is Amy Lloyd Music, and my website is
Hmm.
amyloydmusic.com. And I'll put all the rest of the socials in the comment section when we're done tonight. I have a lyric video for the song I just did as well, so I hope you'll check that out.
Mm.
And just thanks for listening. Thanks for the opportunity to share my songs.
Oh, very cool.